Ed Sheeran and Camera on BBC Radio London. It's 3:18. Shay here with you until 6 p.m. Now, I have been talking about this in recent months, the way in which AI is changing our lives, how we work and communicate with each other. It's a real strong tech conversation because the emergence of AI, it's rapidly impacting so many industries, not just here in London, but globally as well. And my next guest is visiting from the States to discuss with change makers, taste makers about the intersection of music, gaming and technology, but also how the AI revolution relates to community power economies and more. And if you're tuned into Radio London, you're thinking, I don't actually know what all of that means. Don't worry. I assure you my next guest definitely does. She's featured in an array of Netflix series, one of which is called The Future Of, in an episode all around gaming. And joining me now in the studio is J. Letta J. She's a Grammy-nominated artist. She's the founder of Coexist Gaming. It's a community-focused company. Basically, it blends gaming, music and tech together. Such a pleasure to have you on Radio London, Jay.
It is a pleasure to be here.
It's so, I was so intrigued by this whole conversation, but I have to start at the beginning because some people, and I put myself in this, Jay, are so confused around gaming, AI.
Right.
I mean, where has that passion firstly come about for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, well, as a recording artist, I think, and also I've been playing video games since I was 4.
Okay.
It's interesting, there's music in every game, but we don't really think about it that way.
True.
So the gaming industry is the largest entertainment industry in the world. It's bigger than music, film, and sports combined.
Wow.
So it behooves us to ask, as creators, how do we fit into it?
Yeah.
Also, when you look at these numbers, there are 8 billion people on the planet. 4 billion of them identify as gamers. 50% of that 4 billion are women.
Wow.
And so in this $200+ billion industry, 100+ billion is in mobile gaming, where 65% are women of mobile gamers. So when you ask yourself, like, what's being reflected societally, you don't see the representation of these statistics that are being kind of shown. And so there's an opportunity to, one, dissect the ecology of what the gaming industry is really comprised of. Who are those 4 billion people? They can't possibly be monoliths.
Sure.
They're not, right?
Exactly.
And so there's an opportunity uniquely for creators to actually step into this industry in a way that they never have been able to before.
Yeah.
But instead of it being focused on esports, which is what everybody kind of knew about, that doesn't even represent 1%. This is less than 1% because that's the competitive aspect of games.
Okay.
The rest of the money is being made in development. But development is the creation of the game. But we're not looking at it the way we should. When we fall in love with a game, we're looking at a picture we love.
Right.
Those are animated characters. Somebody drew those.
Sure.
We love those character stories. Somebody wrote those.
Yeah.
There's music in every game. Somebody created that. All of these are creative jobs, but we're only focusing on the back end, which is the coding.
This is such an interesting conversation because you're right. Most of us will think, oh, well, if you want to get into gaming, you've got to do coding. Now, I have to be very frank with you, Jay. My other half, Sonny, he is all into gaming, and we've got an 8-year-old daughter, and he's constantly encouraging her in the world of gaming. And I am so lost by it all. But here you are as a woman saying, no, there are many girls, there are many women who love gaming. You just talked about being a young girl. What was the first game that you got into? What was that like for you?
So the first game I ever played was Super Mario Brothers.
I knew you were going to say that. I love Super Mario Brothers.
No one could find that princess faster than me, honey.
I love it.
And you know what? I watched it become the grand equalizer in my area.
Okay.
Porque yo soy dominicana, so as an Afro-Latina.
Yes.
You watched, especially growing up in Texas, you don't see a lot of brown people that are speaking Spanish.
Sure.
So people were kind of like, why do you sound like that? I watched games become this connector where it didn't matter because I was the girl with the gaming system. Okay. All the kids on the block came to my grandmother's house and no one can find the princess faster than me.
Wow.
And so it has a very special place in my heart. But I also understand that there need to be ecosystems that navigate people from just consumer.
Yeah.
To the creators of the IP.
So let's unpack that. You're in London right now.
Yes.
And I feel, I might be biased being a Londoner, but I feel that actually as an ecosystem, there's a lot happening in London in the world of gaming. Is that why you're here? And if so, tell me more about it.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, a really good friend of mine is from East London, and we met through gaming.
Okay.
She's the founder of Black Girl Gamers.
Nice.
London is actually the number 5 or maybe 6 territory of gaming in the entire world. So when it comes to understanding that there's just, a really large market, they have been, I think, one of the pioneers in understanding that there simply need to be places and carved out spaces for gamers.
Right.
But sometimes the representation, if it's dominantly male, they're not really hitting the nail on the head as it relates to the other 2 billion people that are gamers that happen to look like us, because the world looked at esports and said, and they made it applicable to music. They said, we've got these 5-star champions. We're going to put them on a stage. We're going to put them in an arena.
Yeah.
We're going to get butts and seats and sponsorships.
Got it.
The problem is, if you need 100,000 square feet, it's not scalable. And if you're depending on sponsorships, it's not sustainable.
Sure.
Where's the rest of the money? Again, it's in development. But I always say that's a long word with a lot of syllables, and people don't understand what it means. So our job is to extract the nuances of what it means to create the game. And all of these creative careers, which, by the way, are in AAA studios.
Okay.
One studio it'll take 1,000 people to build one game.
See, but then when you say that, a lot of people at the moment are having conversations. I mean, even here in the city, in the banking district of London, there's a whole conversation around graduate schemes, graduate jobs that are going because of the emergence of AI.
Yep.
There's a fear, actually, Jay, I would say, that in the next decade, not in 50 years, but within the next decade, careers are going to be wiped out because AI can do it better. What's your perspective on that in the world of gaming? Are you saying actually creatives are going to be needed more than ever?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because AI is more of an assistant tool.
I see.
Yes. AI automates the repetitive, but it amplifies the creative.
I love this. This is like a t-shirt slogan, because what you're saying essentially is it's the person who's controlling the AI is using it to the...
Correct.
Right, okay.
And the new mantra is not AI as a replacement. It's human controlled, AI powered.
Wow.
Because you need our human nuance, whether it's storytelling or just that creative input, to actually amplify things so that it's resonant, especially as it relates to interactive media.
Now, there's a real conversation. And in fact, I have to tell you, as a mum, I'm having this chat with a lot of, mums at the school gates. When we talk about the kind of careers, the kind of even hobbies that we're encouraging our daughters to get into.
Yes.
There, over the years, have been an array of conferences here in London around STEM. So for anyone who doesn't know, STEM, for our listeners, is science, technology, engineering and mathematics. To this day, we have such a lack of uptake of girls, of young women taking on careers, studying STEM subjects. Is that part of the conversation do you think we need to be having? Because gaming sounds fun. It sounds glamorous at times. I mean, look at you. You're fantastic. You've gone from music to also incorporating gaming. But at the crux of this, STEM must be a real conversation to be had. What's your thoughts?
It is, but I say instead of STEM, it's STEAM.
Oh, okay.
Because
give it to me.
It's science, technology, engineering, arts, and math.
Okay.
We can't forget the creative component, because even in tech, there's a UI, UX, right? So before we get to the experience, we have to focus on the interface.
Sure.
What's the bait? What's the thing that makes you gravitate to it? I think the opportunity is that this gaming, this content, 90% of everyone under 18 is already a gamer. The industry continues to grow more than 13.6% year over year. So we're the demographic, the millennial demographic. We're the ones having the children. Yeah. Which means our kids are growing up with these devices.
It's interesting because we need to wake up. This is half term.
Yes.
So a lot of our listeners right now are going through this. And I'm just so struck by that statistic that you gave. 90% of under 18s are gamers.
Correct. And I think it's just this is why, I didn't even pivot. I just made my worlds coexist.
Okay.
And that's really what we focus on, right? When I say building these ecosystems, it's understanding that we have a 3-story creator house in Times Square. We're scaling them across the nation. We have to create the spaces where the representation lives, because that is the bait.
Yeah.
Kids and everyone in the next generation, they're searching for community. They're searching for an inclusive space where they can be represented. Society doesn't necessarily match that. Yeah. But as we continue to create spaces where they feel like they can gravitate and they become a part of the community-powered economy. Yeah. So when you said that before, it's like, what does that mean? It means instead of reaching outside, we understand who our members are.
Okay.
understanding that thought leaders, entrepreneurs, enterprising minds, the content creators are already forming ecosystems. They're amassing audiences that are readily available to everything they're saying. When you put them all in a room, meaningful, significant conversations start to happen.
Sure. I think you're absolutely right. You know, I've always loved that term. What is it? Your tribe is your vibe.
Absolutely.
I get it.
Yeah.
I need to revert back to a point you just made about Times Square. Talk to me about exactly what you're doing there. And I wonder, are we going to get something like that, I don't know, in Piccadilly Circus?
I definitely want it here.
Amazing.
I definitely want it here. So it is a 3-story facility. And honestly, we've been called a Soho House of Gamers.
Love that.
But what I focus on doing is really redefining what a gamer is.
Okay.
Because people say, you don't look like a gamer. I'm like, this sounds more of a you problem than it does for me.
Absolutely.
Because after all, what does a gamer look like, right? And so in this space, you have 20,000 free-to-play games for one. So there's breaking the pay-to-play model.
Okay.
Because the goal is to foster community.
Yeah.
But each one of the floors offers something different contextually. Representation, every type of game, board games, card games, tabletop games, PC, console, anything you can imagine, because we want the representation to be on point.
We've got some Monopoly in there then.
Yes.
Love that.
Full food and beverage.
Yeah.
A music studio, podcast areas, a speakeasy downstairs with stages, classes, workshops, seminars, streaming booths, all of the things you could imagine in a space, because this is the next generation in a facility.
Okay. And for me, what's coming across here is you are just giving a space for growth, for development, and especially for those creatives who perhaps feel a little bit stunted at the moment. There's a whole conversation around how, you know, I mean, I love my nieces and nephews, but a lot of them are just saying, oh, we want to be YouTubers. And it's like, no, there is so much more out there that you can do with the skills that you have.
It's true. There was actually an interesting poll done of what Gen Z was looking for with careers. Number 1 was like doctor. Number 2 was lawyer. So society's still winning.
Yeah.
Number 3 was game designer.
Well, there you go.
And I thought that was really fascinating.
That's what that shows to me, is that actually we, the parents, the educators, need to shift our thinking as to what the next generation wants to be.
Yes, and also understand that, like, when your kids are playing games, first of all, allow them to, because it's an opportunity for you to sit next to them.
Okay.
And let them be empowered by even teaching you something.
Right.
When your kid gravitates to a game, there's a reason for it. Maybe it's the animation style, maybe it's the story, but it allows you an opportunity to dive into their minds to better understand what's pulling them into
I have to ask you this quick question before I go to travel then, because some parents, I might include myself in this, you know, they're fearful of games like Roblox, not because the game isn't great.
Right.
I'm sure it is. It's because of those online communities, the strangers, the people that you talk to, that your child is conversing with, that a parent thinks, I don't know if I want my child to do that. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, you know, there are a lot of service providers, and we talk to a lot of them, and we partner with them, where their focus is making sure the parents are able to audit some of those conversations and have a level of control.
Okay.
Roblox is a really large game engine, so those are more ideal for some of the games that are kind of standalone and not a part of such a tight ecosystem.
Sure.
But it's out there. And I think that parents are now understanding this industry's not getting any smaller.
Exactly.
So they have to create ways to ensure that the parents' feelings and thoughts are mitigated and that the toxicity is being eradicated.
It's about having a safe space, right?
Absolutely.
That's what's coming across
digitally
to me.
and in real life.
Absolutely.
They have to coexist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure having you here, Jay. Are you going to come back?
I am going to be back.
And I want to hear about the 5-story building that we get in Piccadilly Circus.
That's what I want. That's what I'm talking about, London.
Put it out in the ether. It will happen. Now, people can get more details, can't they, on Letta J Music?
Absolutely.
And I look forward to you coming back into the show.
It would be my honor.
Thank you for joining me at Fantastic J. That's Letta J Watts. And also, you can watch the Netflix series as well, the feature of an episode on gaming, in which J does feature. I look forward to her coming back on the show. Right, it's 3:31. Let's get an update on the roads. Traffic and travel now with Billy.
Thanks, Shay. There's still no Woolwich Ferry because the tide is high. There's still delays approaching the